Hello and welcome to Business Spotlight, where today we are joined by the incredible Paul Malin of Paul Malin Consultancy. Paul, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, really good on this sunny Friday. Let's dive straight in. Tell us what you do and how long you've been doing it for, please, Paul.
Well, I help taxpayers when they receive the proverbial brown envelope through the door and they're under investigation. So I'm on the side of the taxpayer against HMRC.
Oh, so I can imagine straight away then that is a stressful, when you receive that brown envelope, you're getting a person on the other end of the phone that is feeling some sort of pressure.
Yes. They are under constant pressure from the moment they open the envelope until it's all over. They take their tax investigation to bed with them, for example.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And let's dive into a little bit about that next. But just to clarify, how long have you been doing it for?
2 years. I've been around the block a few times, about 35 years now.
35 years. So you know your stuff.
You pick it up as you go along, shall we say, yes.
Yeah. Do you come across, anything new? So with 35 years experience, has anything, are there opportunities that are still sort of jumping out at you and thinking, wow, I've not faced that before?
Yes, HMRC can surprise me from time to time.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's not a very pleasurable surprise because they are just in a mess, to be honest.
Right.
If they were a company, they'd be gone bust by now.
Oh, wow, really? If they were a company, they'd have HMRC banging on their door, would they?
Well, they would have gone bust because their customer handling, the way that they do their work, it's totally inefficient, it's wrong, misleading, and people are accused of being criminals from the outset, and it's just wrong.
Oh, it just sounds, very traumatic, very horrendous to go through. So what on earth motivated you to start working in this industry, to start your business?
I have no idea, to be honest. If I go right back to my school days, my ambition then was to be a long-distance lorry driver.
Wow, so this is completely different. Please explain how.
It's all down to my history teacher. He was my career advisor, such as it was.
Yeah.
And he said, Paul, you'll be a chartered accountant one day. And I had to look it up because I had no idea what one was. And yes, I qualified as a chartered accountant, but I've never planned my career. In fact, I've met some very interesting people along the way that I've worked with. One gentleman I met at the door, one of these doors at the office, where there's a keypad where you have to enter your passcode to get in.
Yeah.
And he tried his code, pulled the door, it wouldn't open. So I tried my code, pulled the door, it wouldn't open. And we just had a bit of a chat. And then we worked together for 22 years.
Wow. What was it about that conversation that made you think, I've got to work with this guy?
I think it was mutual. He had some interesting work he was looking for help on. I was interested in doing that work. And we've had a good laugh, shall we say. It is stressful. You can relieve that stress by just having a laugh from time to time.
Yeah.
Not at the client's expense, though. Only at the HMRC's expense.
Yeah. The laughter is the key. Laughter is the key. Has it been everything you hoped over the last 35 years?
And more, yes. I mean, I've done a lot of travelling, which I would never have done with work, I don't believe. I've been down to Cayman Islands, Hong Kong, around Europe, so fantastic. And people pay me to go. More can you ask for?
Yeah, well, what more could you ask for? Where's been your favourite place to go? And is there somewhere on your sort of bucket list that you're thinking, oh, I want to tick that off? So favourite place and bucket list, please, Paul. I'm very interested.
First place I went to was Hong Kong. This was before 1997 handover.
Right.
So it has changed now, but the people out there and the way they did business, you have to see it to believe it. No doubt about it. And the place I'd like to go, I'd like to do the train journey across Canada. You see all the mountains and such like. That's what I'd like to do one day.
Wow, I bet that is spectacular. I bet that is spectacular. Well, we've put it into the ether now, so keep me posted if anything props up on a social media feed, or somebody knocks on your door to do their liaison with HMRC that they're based in Canada. You never know. You never know. What do you do that makes you stand out from others in the industry, please, Paul?
What's on me? My wife tells me there's only one Paul Malin, God. You have your own personal way of doing things, whether you've got a 9 to 5 desk job or manufacturing job, it doesn't matter. But when people are under investigation, as you said right at the start, they're under stress.
Yeah.
And they need somebody to almost walk in and take control and guide them the way through it so that they get out the other end as painlessly as possible.
Mm.
A lot of the big firms that I've worked for in the past, for example, they have large teams of people. And so whenever that taxpayer rings in for a bit more advice or to see them, they get passed on to another member of staff.
Mm.
They don't like that. So people get me and only me, and I will resolve it. What's different?
That personal touch will bring a lot of relief to people when they know that they've got you on the end of the phone. How do you keep calm? How do you calm down your clients? What's your sort of secret that you bring to the table to put people at ease, because with it being such a stressful time?
Starting point normally is just to let them speak.
Yeah.
They want to get it off their chest, whether they're angry that they're under investigation, whether they have something to confess to, whether sometimes they have no idea why they're being picked on and this, that, and the other. And it's just a question of letting them talk for maybe 5-10 minutes, whatever it takes, and just pause for a moment. Then I can start putting the pieces together, because it's like doing a jigsaw without the picture. You know, every piece is a challenge.
Yeah.
You get there in the end.
Yeah.
Every investigation has to come to an end. That's what I have to tell my clients.
Yeah, this too shall pass is just something that's come into my mind. So 35 years is that's a decent trek. What would you attribute your growth to?
Being available for my clients.
Okay.
I had a call this morning, for example, where the advisor was very grateful for the fact that I was there within 2 hours. I wasn't a policeman on blue lights or whatever. It just happened that my diary was free. They were very concerned because they were accused of being criminals at the end of the day. And they did wonder if a policeman would be knocking on their door.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't the case, but it's how people think. If they don't know why they're being chosen, why they've been randomly selected or whatever, their mind just runs riot. They think the worst.
Absolutely. We don't tend to think, oh, it's going to be okay. Oh, this is going to be fine. We catastrophize in our heads, don't we? So is that something that you try to do or attempt to do with every inquiry that you come through? The speed of speaking to them or seeing them?
There's certainly a strong pattern, but every matter is different. So you have to react to what the matter is, shall we say.
Yeah.
But as human beings, we all have common traits. So if I were to say to you as a taxpayer, I believe you owe £1 million, you might drop on the floor thinking, blimey, I'll never find £1 million or whatever.
Yeah.
The human psyche is such that you may go to bed tonight and wake up in the middle of the night thinking, well, he said it's £1 million, but he may have got it wrong, so it's probably 2 million.
Yeah.
And then the following day you wake up again thinking, well, what about interest? So you make it 3 million, 4 million, 5 million, and you make the problem worse for yourself. So I have to tell my clients, the way that I am built, I will tell you the worst case. It will only therefore get better when I talk to you again, or meet with you, email you. It's not like pulling teeth that every time we meet, you'll get a bit more pain. No, I work the other way around.
Right.
This is the worst case. Believe me, it will now get better.
brilliant. That's a fantastic way to digest it. That's and dissect it. I love that. That's absolutely brilliant. You mentioned your wife earlier, Paul, and this question often catches business owners out, and especially considering you've alluded to being available to your clients is something as is very important to you. My next question is, how do you balance your personal life with the demands of running a business?
Not badly.
Okay, I love your honesty. You are an honest man, Paul. Badly. Okay, tell me more.
It's more my children when they were growing up,
Okay.
when I did take some positive decisions, because the job requires a lot of travelling, both in the UK and overseas. So before they were born, yes, I used to travel at very short notice, pack a bag, and away I went.
Yeah.
So we born and young, I tried to be home for 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night to say goodnight to them. Tried, succeeded for a few years, shall we say, I'd like to think. Now, no, if my job calls me to go away to Harrogate or whatever, then I'll go to Harrogate. That's what the job needs, and it pays the bills.
Yeah.
I love my job.
Yeah.
Well, it's not really a job. It's I'd even say it's a passion, really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. What do they say? Sorry, Paul, go on.
it's the ability to help people. That's what makes me get out in the morning.
That's something that's really important to you.
Yeah, if that ever stops, then I probably would have to retire or whatever. But at the moment, no, every job's a challenge.
But you can see the end, and you know that you're helping people. So for you, that's what it means.
If I can calm them down initially, if I
Yeah.
can make themselves focus on the real important things in their life, which is their family, their work, tax investigation becomes almost a side issue,
Yeah.
something that has to be dealt with. It's like getting the washing machine repaired when it fails or whatever. It's the job to be done.
Right.
Getting the washing machine repaired doesn't take over your life. It's a hurdle you have to overcome, and that's what you've got to try and make it. Reduce it down to something like that.
And that's what you do. That's your superpower by the sounds of it, Paul. So I love that. Do you have any hobbies? Do you have any tips and tricks to wind down? Because you must absorb some of the stress from the client. And you mentioned earlier that HMRC are still surprising you, even with 35 years experience. So how does Paul wind down? How do you chill out?
Jigsaws. I like doing jigsaws.
Oh, okay.
A 1,000-piece jigsaw is about the biggest I've ever done. But they're not the ones like baked beans or something like that.
Ooh,
But
yeah.
the jigsaw where you have a little story to read. And so the picture on the box is what was happening 5 minutes before something else happened. So the picture you're now doing as a jigsaw is that 5 minutes later. So you think, oh, there's a man in the room in a blue suit, or a dog in the corner, or whatever. But then they could be in a different position. Sometimes the jigsaws don't have a straight line either, like the edge.
Oh, wow.
It's just a challenge. How I wind down.
Yeah, these sound really interesting. So there's no picture on the front of the box like a traditional jigsaw. You have to read the story, and then it's what you feel is happening after that fact. Wow. Oh, I shall check that out, definitely. Oh, that's a real mind bender. You've blown my mind there, Paul. I shall check that out. What's been your biggest learning over the last since you've been running the business or life?
Well, I always have to fight with IT.
Right.
It's every day is a challenge. Not my job, IT. It can be the simplest things, such as printer won't work or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know about yourself, but you can take things out of context because you want that printer to work. You want it to work now. Why doesn't it work? It worked 2 minutes ago. Now it's not working. So anything to do with IT, I dread.
Right.
Now, if I could learn how to do or be better at IT, I have a lot of people around me that answer my queries on IT, normally by a question though, and they say, but that shouldn't happen. How have you done that? So it makes the problem even worse for me then.
Yeah, because it is happening and I don't know. So how do you work around that then? So being patient with IT sounds like it's a learning for you, but yeah, what would you say? How are you improving that?
Try to do it all on a face-to-face basis. I know we've
Yeah.
had COVID, we've had Zoom, Teams, and all these as alternatives, but to me, there's still no substitute for meeting face-to-face.
Mm,
If that does require me to travel up and down the UK, then that's what it takes.
yeah.
It resolves the IT issue 9 out of 10, which is good.
Yeah.
And if you show that you are so much keen to help, but you're able to help and you have the empathy, you can tell them, though I've not had my own tax investigation, I can tell them what they are thinking before they even realise it. They're like you're doing now. They're nodding their head saying, yes, how did you know I'm feeling like that? And I've had a very strange day where I went to the house of the taxpayer and the son answered and he introduced him by name. So I recognised his name as the son. Never met him before. And I told him my name. And he just turned around and said, oh, you're Paul Malin.
Oh.
I said, yes, why? He said, well, you're the reason my dad's always unhappy when he comes home, because his dad had the tax investigation. He wasn't blaming me, but I was the only avenue of which he could let off steam.
Right, with you, yeah. The
Because
only
he's trying to
name
keep
to
him
the,
happy
yeah.
with his family. So, and I think if you do the personal touch, you can nip these things in the bud far easier.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you're you can't see the facial expression. Sometimes I mishear things. I may even say something clumsily or the wrong thing, heaven forbid.
Yeah.
You need to understand that, because if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem.
Mm. Yeah, that is a very good point. And do you find that face-to-face meetings is a surefire way, as best as you possibly can, to be a part of that solution?
Yes, particularly if the spouse is there, husband,
Right.
wife, or whatever the partner may be. Because a number of times I've had it where one person has got the problem, they're holding something back from me. They just turn around, normally following a kick under the table, saying, for God's sake, just tell Paul the truth.
Yeah.
Suddenly you can see their shoulders rise up and they sit more relaxed when they start to tell me, give me full answers to the questions I'm asking. At the end of the day, I'm on their side. I
Yeah.
need to ask the questions, because the questions that HMRC may ask, often the wrong questions. They're intrusive,
Right.
This is a tax investigation is personal. As I said before, you can take it to bed with you at night.
Yeah.
Last thing on your mind, first thing on your mind in the morning. It hasn't gone away.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like a doctor sometimes. If only I had a bag of pills.
Yeah, exactly, that you could remove. Yeah, absolutely. I think there's something to be said about reading the room. I mean, Zoom's great. We're on Zoom now. This is an opportunity for us to meet. So we thank Zoom for that. But I think in your situation, where it is so emotive and it is so stressful, there's a lot of communication that's beyond just the words that somebody speaks. So I hear you loud and clear with face-to-face being a really important part of what you do. I love to finish with this question because it's given we've had a different answer every single time. So please may I finish with, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And are there any words of advice for other business owners who are looking to grow their business?
5 years' time, I'd like to think I'm still doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I love it. If I have a choice of location, it'll be somewhere warmer.
Oh, okay. Where are we talking?
the Caribbean, somewhere like that.
Oh,
Still
yes.
up there. I'd
Yeah.
say I've been to the Cayman Islands, and that was wonderful.
Yeah.
The advice, I would just probably say, well, life's not a rehearsal. Whatever life throws at you, deal with it, have a go at it, make the mistakes, whatever, because you won't get another opportunity. And if it goes badly wrong, avoid it next time.
Yeah. What a fantastic piece of advice. There's nothing else to say on that. I think that is a fantastic piece of advice. So yeah, I just want to say a massive thank you for joining us on Business Spotlight today. It really has been a pleasure to chat to you and learn more about you and your business, and clearly you are passionate about what you do, helping people, and we will keep in touch, and I will definitely look forward to speaking again. So thank you for joining us, Paul.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Paul.